Yup. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, yeah. How's things? I see we're running a little bit behind, so we can jump right in.
Wait. Oh, are we live now? There was no countdown.
I
Okay,
believe
alright.
we're live. There was a countdown in the Discord.
Alright, I did not expect that, but in any case, I want to say first off, hello everybody, and welcome back to Bingothon Ukraine Emergency Relief. You can find the link to donate to Project Hope right below the stream. And so, you know, as you can see, it's an amazing cause. We're already at 1.5k, so let's see how much further we can go. With that said, that's enough from me. So here we are now with Subnautica single bingo. So now, how about you take it away?
Sure, I'll take it away. Yep. Unfortunately, just a single bingo this time. For the sake of expediency, since we're behind anyway, I've got a set save that I'm just going to use and dive into that. I was going to reset a few times, spawn location being pretty relevant to a good run in this game, but I had one ready in case I was going to reset like 3 times. Let's just jump straight into it, I think. So time will start in 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're going to leave, and we're in a pretty good spawn spot. So a lot of the first start of this is just collecting a lot of resources from places that I'm pretty familiar with. Even though it's a saved game, all of the resources are still random, essentially. You load the resources in chunks around where your character currently is. So anything beyond the immediate area of where my life pod is, I have no knowledge of, so it's still pretty much blind. For the purposes of expediency, I'm just looking for some more metal at the moment. For the purposes of expediency and marathon safety, I know which set I'm going to be doing for this from this grid, instead of me deciding on the fly, because that's just, yeah, safer. So coming up right now, we're going to have the first glitch of the game straight away out the gate. I don't have enough to make an oxygen tank, unfortunately, and that is we animation cancel the life pod there, the storage, so that we can access the storage locker the next time we open the inventory. Wherever we are on the map, it's very useful. Especially in something like Bingo, where you're needing to collect a lot of things a lot of the time. So I'm going to come down here and grab a couple of those. Doing a slightly different routing than you would see in an any percent run. That's largely just because of where my starting location was. I still need a little bit more limestone. There's one over here, because I didn't go through a particular coral tube. And there's another one down here. I'm just going to be a little bit greedy and grab that as well. I'm wanting 2 sea glides. So the random boxes, there's 2 right here. So this is where we use our storage. Because otherwise in the game you will only keep 1 random item when you do a death warp like this. This saves us having to swim back. We weren't too far away, it's more useful in other spawn locations than that, but it still cuts off a little bit of time, which is always nice. And here's our stuff. We can grab it all out again. We're not going to use all of it straight away, but we need to get ourselves all of the tools that we'll need to do the rest of the run. Don't make another battery, that's a copper wire that I need. Make the knife, make the O2 tank. O2 tank slows you down when you're swimming normally. Thankfully, we make ourselves a sea glide straight away, so we don't need to worry about that. So what was I at? I was at 4 copper and I believe 6 quartz. So a lot of the starting area I'll just be kind of counting to myself, because I need to hit certain resources. So that's 7. And that's just important for setting up the base. The start of every single run, whether it's bingo, whether it's any percent, they look very similar, because you're just wanting to get certain resources to get your base set up essentially before the first nightfall, because you want to get power to do additional crafting. Otherwise you have to rely on the power supply of the life pod itself, and that's very slow. We don't like slow because we're speedrunners. So let's cut this, Didn't cut into as many pieces as I'd like. I'm running on the latest patch, mostly just for stability. Normally in speedruns we run on the older patch because it allows different glitches. I've completely lost count of my resources by now, because I've been talking too much. But that's fine, because a lot of the time it just kind of works out. I also don't want to drown here, so I do need to hasten back to where there's some oxygen. Once your timer hits 0, you actually have 8 seconds to get back to the surface, so don't worry about it. I'm going to dump that one because I don't want it, but I think I'm fine for everything else. I'm actually also going to dump that because I only wanted 3 of those. Inventory space is a little bit tight at this point in the game. I need the other battery. I need another copper wire. So the first step was getting the sea glide. This is now all about getting the habitat builder so that we can make ourselves a new base. Because the life pod's good and all, but it's a little bit restricted. So that's the habitat builder. I don't have it on salvage. Just going to grab the medkit as well. I'm just going to do that. We use the remote storage glitch once again, just to make it easier on ourselves. I can also grab another one of these because I didn't have much metal. So we're going to put our base in a very specific position. This is one that was discovered relatively recently for the any % run. We're going to set this up over these mushrooms. They will become very relevant very shortly. There's a glitch in this game called Super Sea Glide. It's a speed glitch, allows us to go at 25 meters per second, which is much faster than you can normally do.
Power restored.
And you activate it by being in a base when it floods. Kind of strange. It's not fully understood how it works, but it does, and that's all that matters. So we're just going to do that. Now we're going to get all the stuff out of storage. We only need that much stuff. That's fine. Come down here, and I'm actually going to dump a couple of these extra mushrooms just for a little bit of ammunition. Perfectly intentional death there, because it clears my inventory and resets all my food and water and stuff. And we're back up here. And it didn't actually flood the base. That's unfortunate. Sometimes it doesn't because of just the height. If you get the height slightly wrong, then it doesn't do it. But it'll probably do it in one of these. Yep, there we go. You could hear it flood immediately. And then we do that, and I actually wanted 2 of those still. There we go. A little bit softer. Battery. So if you're in the base when it floods, that's ideal. If you're not, then you can still make sure the speed glitch works by just deconstructing the hatch slightly and reconstructing it again. So now we're going to do the same storage glitch but on a wall locker. And we activate that because it doesn't have an opening animation. We use the flare animation instead. I don't have enough metal. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I think it's probably because I made that locker, but the glitch will remain active regardless. I just need this metal. There we go. And we do this, and now we're going to do another glitch. By deconstructing this compartment after making that little bit of window, we then make a corner piece, we then complete the window. It's in a position that it shouldn't be allowed to be in. That breaks the game slightly. And now this base grid is 2 grids overlaid. So we have 2. So now we can duplicate things. 4. And sometimes the thing disappears on us. That's perfectly normal. 6. And 8. Fun little trick that. Very useful. Stops us having to gather quite so many resources. 2 and 3. They always run away from me. So we're just going to come down here, we grab 1 more silver, that's good. I don't need the lead. Lead is good. 2 more silver, that's good. That's actually exactly what I need. I can't remember if I need any more quartz just yet, but I don't believe so. I'm going to grab some metal. There we go. Now we're going to head over here. So first beat was getting the sea glide, second was getting the habitat builder. Now we're just trying to get enough stuff to make the larger oxygen tank and the rebreather. Those allow us a lot more time on target when we're collecting materials. Grab another few of these. We thankfully do not need stalker teeth. There's one down there anyway, because of course there is. This is not any percent. I'm just going to grab that extra gold as well. Looking for more metal salvage, but it's a little bit barren around here, which is kind of annoying. Here we go. A bit more. Should be able to grab another one. Here we go. Had to go a little bit further away than I would have liked, but that's fine. You can use the life pod beacon to locate on, but obviously we've moved the base, so we do have to be mindful of that. And we're setting up 2 fabricators here, and that's because we can actually use 2 at the same time. Unfortunately, this is functionality that was patched out below 0, which is quite a disappointment.
With a few donations that we've had.
You can definitely read some donations. Yep, this is all just kind of messing around at the moment.
Thank you very much. We have had $5 from Witching Willow saying good luck to every runner and especially successful swimmings to AJ. Keep up them gluten and endorphin levels. We have had $20 from the Chaos Goddess. Subnautica bingos are always fun. Good luck AJ and remember to have fun. Heart emoji. We've had $25 from Flair, the runner of the previous run. I'm glad to have been part of this event for a great cause. Thank you all at Bingothon for hosting this event. And we've had $5 from Jovin without comment. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, yes. Good to hear some best wishes from our Subnautica community. Yeah, bingo is something we embraced a little while ago now. I think it's been a couple of years now. We've had a bingo league that we do every fortnight that rotates, which is always a good amount of fun. It's pretty much a free-for-all, all skill levels are welcome. Even if you're just learning the game, it's a good way to actually learn where things are, really. So we're just heading south here and going down to a particular place. Heading down to the Deep Grand Reef Legacy base. So one of the objectives on the set that I've chosen, I should have mentioned, I've chosen the top left, bottom right is the 5 that I'll be aiming towards. There's quite a few objectives that kind of work well with each other. I might tick off a couple of others just for the fun of it, but those are the 5 that I'll be going towards. And you can see on the second one of those is to hatch and release a cuttlefish. So one of the things that I'm looking for is a cuttlefish egg. I was also hoping to find some more rubies and some gel sacks. Here we go. So I'll need them later. So I'm also having to build the Neptune. So we can come in here and scan the alien containment. This is one of the little side mission places in the game. It's not part of the main storyline. This kind of flashes a bit, so be warned if people have issues with flashing lights. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit over the top. And out we go. So we've got enough oxygen to get us to our next destination, hopefully. And I'm trying to find some extra resources here that otherwise I'd have to find later. Nickel is one of the most annoying things. And we need 3 of them. And it's like a little potato. It's very difficult to find. It's more prevalent here than it is in the lava zone when we normally find it in any percent. So I'm trying to take advantage of that, but unfortunately the floor looks an awful lot like it as well. Ah, there we go, all 3, perfect. One more ruby would be nice as well. There's one, perfect. I was supposed to take a bit of damage as I was coming along here, though I might run out of oxygen first anyway, which is fine. I'll grab some sulfur too, that's handy. Popping in here. We got this orange tablet from that base, which is quite handy because there's 3 ion cubes in here. There's also another cuttlefish egg, so we can actually hatch 2 of them, which is fun. And we're just going to dump all of these back in here. Ion cubes are actually a storyline item or a protected item. We're just going to drown instead of waiting for the damage. So you actually keep those on your inventory when you take a death without having to actually send them back. We take advantage of that sometimes. Unfortunately on current patch there is a loading time for a respawn. It's much quicker on old patch, but... right, so I need all of these out here. I'm just gonna make these to condense inventory a little bit. I then need a lot of this, basically all of that. So now we can make the multi-purpose room. I could theoretically attach it to my existing base, but it kind of gets annoying because it causes it to no longer be flooded and it takes forever to flood this larger building. So it's just easier to keep it separate. So that way I can immediately get Super Sea Glide back again from my main base. There's the hatch. And in we come. And we can drop 2 of them. Perfect. I have a spare glass, so I'm just going to make a little window there so I can keep an eye on things from outside, if I so wish. Right, so the important thing with getting the egg started is that they take... oops, that was the wrong direction. They take 20... Don't mind me. Just messing up one of the easiest glitches in the game. They take 20 minutes to hatch. So the idea is that we want to get that started as soon as possible. And now we can take our time to do other objectives. I thought that was a metal salvage. It wasn't. There's another one. I'm collecting about 5 of these. There we go. 5 of those. Dump them back in there. And now I need 1 more. Maybe not need, but I'll grab another one if I see one on the way in. So we're heading over to the Aurora, which is the big ship that we came in on that crashed into the planet. We need a couple of things from inside. There's this little maintenance hatch here, which is a gap in collision that closes after it explodes, but before it explodes, it allows us entry out of bounds. Normally we would have to wait, like a glitchless run, you have to wait between 46 and 80 minutes to gain access. And we don't want to have to do that. Oop, messed up the jump. That's fine. Thankfully we can jump onto this corridor, and then there's a wall here that has no collision. And now I'm just going to scan the prawn suits. I believe I still have a medkit on me. I forgot to grab a medkit, didn't I? No, I have a medkit. Good. Whew. Just had that sinking feeling when you make a little bit of a mistake. It's not a big deal. There's no real way to lock yourself in this run easily. There's a couple which I will mention later, but for now, we just come straight back in the same way. It just wastes like 90 seconds. There's parkour up here. You can go up the other side as well, but I honestly find that even more difficult to jump over these boxes that are always in our way. And we need to come to the captain's quarters to get the Neptune rocket blueprint. Thankfully the code is always the same, 2679. We can collect the Aurora miniature, which is technically an objective, so we can actually mark one of those off, which is amusing. It's not one of the ones I'm trying to do, but in my previous foray into this, we actually did a blackout, and it's just a demonstration that a lot of the goals do just kind of work together, which is always fun. I'm trying to do things as simultaneously as possible. Also, you may have realized that, or may have noticed I scanned the prawn suit, even though it's not something we need. The reason for that is because I do need to be able to make a plasteel ingot later, and that is for the Neptune rocket. We don't actually unlock it by getting that blueprint, which is very strange. We need to reassociate that. For some reason, in their infinite wisdom, they didn't make the Neptune platform give you plasteel, but any other vehicle does. So since we were there anyway, the prawn was just convenient. Otherwise we'd have to scan a Seamoth or something, and that's more RNG, and we don't want to have to deal with that. So now we're just getting more resources for the time being. These sandstone nodes are always there, which is nice. I think I need 1 more copper. I may have already got more I need, but I think I will. Let's do that. I've lost count of my silver, but I can count it when I put it into my inventory if I collect a little bit too much. It's not the end of the world. Gotta be careful of that geyser because it does do a significant amount of damage if you're caught in the main blast. But if you're just near it, you only just take little ticks, and that's fine. So just coming through here, I'm just going to clean out these nodes, and then I'll just call that done. I can always get more if I need to. 1 more for luck. Good. And out we go again. So, some of these objectives are actually a little bit out of the way from what I would have liked. That's 5 of those, that's perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's too many of those, but that's fine. I think I already have the lead, but I'm just going to put 2 more back in there just in case. off we go. So I'm just trying to economize some travel time here. There's nothing actually like over here that I really need, but I do need to take a screenshot of a purple pinecone, which is one of the most underappreciated things in the game. It's actually functionally useless, but I just enjoy the fact that it exists, so I really wanted to highlight it. It's very rare. There's 2 here, and there's very few others anywhere else in the game. Also, I was meant to take off my my O2 tank, so now I'm actually going to take forever to drown, so I'm just going to swim back to base. Once again, 25 meters per second with Super Sea Glide means we do actually cover a lot of distance very quickly. So unless you manage to time your oxygen usage perfectly, it can just be a pain to actually take a death warp, and then you may as well just swim back. So yeah, I was meant to death warp there. This is a good kind of, I don't know, 30 seconds out of the way. I do need mobile vehicle bay fragments though. So maybe we can find some of those. I might just grab another metal salvage while I'm on the way back as well. There's one. So I do need 3 of those, and that's only 1 of them. But I do have a wreck that I can visit that will have more of them guaranteed. But yeah, that was a strategy that didn't work out quite properly, but never mind. That happens sometimes. We do Wakanda forever. If we try and access a locker from too far away, which is always fun. Can't remember where I'm supposed to put that metal at the moment, but I do need another couple of copper wire, which is why we're doing that. I also need 1 more wiring kit. Everything else back in here, including these. Cool. Right, so I got the purple pine cone, but I can't actually make a picture frame yet, which is kind of weird. It's a very simple thing that you'd think you'd be able to, but we actually need to go scan one for some strange reason. So we're going to do that. Thankfully there's a wreck over here that I know has it. So over here is where we could have gotten sea moths as well for the plasteel ingot, if we really needed to, but here we go. Here's a picture frame. Here's a mobile vehicle bay fragment. This is my backup spot. And there's some plant pots, because one of my objectives is to have all 7 plant-related habitat items. What was that? Ah, it's another mobile vehicle bay fragment. Perfect, that's my 3. Otherwise I was going to have to go down into the bottom part of the wreck, which is possible to get into, but kind of annoying. Not the bench, I don't need the bench. Basic plant pot, plant shelf. Perfect. That's all for us here, and we move on to the next place. We're doing a little bit of a grand tour in some respects in this run. One of the reasons I curated these objectives the way they are is it does give a good little tiki tour of the place. Heading over the mushroom forest now, which is a favourite biome of mine. Heading over to the bulb zone, which is also a favourite of mine. There's actually a cave down here where there's another cuttlefish egg if we wanted to collect all 5 of them. But we won't bother ourselves with that just now. Exterior grow bed is here. And there's an interior grow bed, conveniently enough, inside. But we just have to take away, do a little bit of jensening, and pretend we're playing a stealth game and go through the air vents. I was just playing Human Revolution recently. And there's indoor grow bed. Can actually make the whole wreck disappear to make it easier to get out again, but I don't have the spare metal on me. I was meant to have a couple of loose titanium to make it easier, but that's fine. Deconstructing a wreck like that does make everything else disappear, which is dangerous. Do at your own risk. Anything that isn't... well, anything that is nailed down essentially disappears with the wreck if it's part of the mesh, including the grow bed that we just scanned. So you don't want to do that if you're not careful. But it is a good way to get to the loose fragments. So don't mind me, I'm just going somewhere where I know. There's a Reaper Leviathan up there called Maple that we pass in our 80% runs. And we need 6 lithium. 2, 3...
Detecting massive energy signature in the region. Cannot identify.
4, 5, and 6. Good. That's for the plasteel. And we're going to come down here. Now we need to scan moonpool fragments, and that's one that likes to play hide and seek. I do have a backup spot for it if I need it. Looks like I might be needing it. This happens in any percent runs a lot. A lot of runs die to not getting moonpool here. Ours will not die, thankfully, because we do have other places to look. And there's a lot of Cyclops engines. Gonna put those lithium back in our storage. A lot of Cyclops engines which we don't need, a lot of nuclear reactor fragments which we also don't need. We can just take off these as well. And we're going to jump through the floor here and pick up a purple tablet. We think that the devs made a little bit of a mistake and put it just slightly under the floor there. It's about a meter underneath. But it's handy. There's another Reaper Leviathan here. Her name's Eileen. Really gets in the way when we're doing glitchless runs. I'll spare you the jump scare of her attacking us, and we'll just drown naturally instead. Because I don't think we really want to scare people more than we have to. Also, it takes 2 hits for them to actually instant kill you, and that's even slower sometimes because it can be a long time before they actually attack you once with Super Sea Glide on. So we've got everything we need there. Let's put these back on. So we do need to get the moonpool. I'm glad I kept that lead because it turns out I didn't keep any earlier, so that's good. Just doing a little bit of an inventory check here. I don't actually need to keep anything on my next trip. So now we're going a completely different direction. Once again, the world tour expands. We're going to go to the Jelly Shroom Cave. Another favourite biome. I like bright, colourful things. Through this little archway down here. And we're going to pop down. And we're coming down here for a couple of reasons. One, we need a wall planter, which we can quite conveniently scan through this wall, which is nice. And you don't have to navigate the whole base there. You can also get moonpool fragments here, theoretically. We're just getting nuclear reactors instead, which is really annoying. So that's fun. So our search continues. And now we're going to be going to Life Pod 7, which is one of the Easter eggs in the game, essentially. It's really difficult to even get the radio message that gives you the clue. You can only get it from standing on a particular spot inside the Aurora, which we did do, but we don't have the radio repaired, so we won't actually receive it. So I'm just following some landmarks and taking a little bit of a scenic tour into the crag fields here. And here's Life Pod 7, everyone. And there's a toy car, which is fun. We don't need it for anything, but it's still fun. And there's an unusual doll, which we're going to scan. I'm going to pick up the PDA, and I'm actually going to play it.
I've tried everything.
Because I like the guy's accent.
The analysis circuits on the fabricator are fried. Can barely manufacture the most basic of materials. Want a battery? Here, have a children's toy. Need deep-sea diving equipment? Have some lab tech. Hungry? I'll turn that fruit into dust for you. Going forward with trial and error. I hit every button here.
I was wondering if we had time for a quick message.
Absolutely, yep.
Alright, thank you so much. I wanted to remind everybody that this marathon is benefiting Project Hope. And in terms of what it is that they actually do, currently they have a big focus in helping out due to the ongoing situation in Ukraine, because one of the big problems that is happening right now is that there is a widespread shortage in medicine, food, and medical supplies, for instance. And as such, Project Hope responds by shipping essential supplies to affected areas and helping the people affected over there. So it is an absolutely amazing cause to donate for, and I'm so thankful that we've reached over 1.5k so far reached during this marathon in just 24 hours so far. I see we're just almost at 1.6k, and I think, you know, we're less than $30 away from it. And if you want to be that person to help us reach that 1.6k with a $30 donation, for instance, well, you're also in luck because you could win some prizes. One of them, for instance, includes an Elden Ring digital copy provided by Bingothon staff, which, as I said, you can potentially win for a minimum donation of $30. And what's good is that it doesn't have to be a one-time donation. It can be accumulated over multiple donations. So if you've already donated beforehand, well, if you donate again, maybe you might reach that threshold and be able to get it. So you can check all the other prices we have on if you type exclamation mark prizes in the chat. But of course, the biggest benefit of all is that this is all going towards an amazing cause. So let's keep it going, everyone. Let's keep the hype going, and thank you all.
Absolutely. So I've ticked off my first actual objective there by making the pinecone picture frame, so that's nice, we can appreciate that. I'm also, where is it? Yeah, just gonna make a plastic ingot there. So we've made ourselves the mobile vehicle bay, which allows us to make the first stage of the rocket. The reason for this base positioning is because we can actually, release the mobile vehicle bay right here and make the rocket platform really close by. Which lets us overlap some crafting later, which is nice. So we're going to do that. And we're just going to try and overlap some logic here, because the platform takes a long time to make. It takes about 35 seconds to create. So we're going to spend that time wisely and make some of these plant pots. And here, the composite one, and the basic one, and that'll do for now. Out we go. There's the big switch that tells us that it's finished. We've got the exterior one out here, so we now just need to make... Oh, the wall planter I forgot to make. Oh, we don't have the titanium for that. That's fine. Well, we do now, so we can actually make that now. Just trying to remind myself what the next step is. I believe that's fine. I need to give myself some sea glide again, of course. You do that every time you leave the water. So we're just going to go up here and do a... Dolphin dive was a bit high. That's only that's a 6 out of 10 there. And we're going to collect our mobile vehicle bay now that it's made the launch platform. We don't need it for anything else. We're going to come back in here. I'm just going to double check that I have. Yes, good. We can make the wall planter from the outside as well, which is good. That's good. And now we're just going to pop underneath here, use the mobile vehicle bay again. If we release it in just the right fashion, that might not be high enough. We're trying to... Yes, we're good. Good, good, good. Using it to clip out of bounds. And due to the nature of how the map is laid out, there's a lot of verticality to it. So we start off in the safe shallows up here, and a little ways down, after descending into the depth of darkness, we find the lava zone, which is where a lot of the late game takes place. So it's quite convenient that it just stacks up like that. The creative speedrun involves making gravity disappear and just free falling, which is fun. We don't do that in this because it's the sudden stop at the bottom that is a bit of a problem. You can hear the sea dragon. And here we are, at the lava castle. There's Kevin. Likes to eat glitchless runners. I am a glitchless runner. Thankfully I am currently not running the glitchless category. So we need 4 of these. There's 2. And here's 3. And we need another few of those. So that's 2, 3 and 2, 4 and 2. I could probably take a bit of a nibble from a lava lizard to get my health down actually, but I'm not sure I want to bet on that. There we go. Okay, so check our inventory. We've got 3, we already had 1, we've got 4 there, that's good. We had the materials for a moon pool if we needed it, but we don't. We're just going to take a little bit of extra damage here. So we didn't use remote storage, but the useful thing about kind of the safety mechanisms in this game is if you're in air in an alien precursor base like this, when you die, you keep all of your inventory instead of just one random item and the protected items. So we don't need to worry about remote storage for this leg. I'm just going to jump over here. There's the cuttlefish hatched. That's good. We're going to have to take a couple of jumps, unfortunately, which is a bit slow, but again, it's that or really hope that we get the perfect amount of damage from a lava lizard, and they can be finicky. If they accidentally take 2 bites out of you in the same instant or something, then you'd be swimming a long way back. So back we come, and we can release the cuttlefish, which is nice. Cool. And we kept everything, like I said. There we go. So we can now do that. We don't need the lead anymore. We do need some more of that. Once again, we do want to overlap some crafting, so I don't want to grab everything out right now. I want to do about that. Cool. Let's get the cuttlefish out of here. There's 2 of them. Did we meet the incentive for playing with the cuttlefish at all?
Yes, we did.
We did. Perfect.
Yeah.
In which case, we've told them to stay where they are for now, but we can play with them. Aren't they adorable? And because I hatched 2 of them, you know what? Let's get a bonus one. Ah, it's the same animation. There's a few animations that you can do. Good fun. Very adorable.
They absolutely are.
Yeah, they're also extremely frustrating. The reason that I tell them to stay where they are is they're actually hard programmed to stay within your field of view at all times, which gets extremely frustrating because they will just get in the way when you're trying to interact with anything.
Wow.
Yeah, one of our runners, Selvner, he did a kind of meme sort of thing recently where he has an integration. He kind of modded the game so that I can tick off that one and tick off that one. He modded the game so a new cuttlefish spawned in every 10 seconds. He ended up with about 1,000 cuttlefish, I think. Yeah, that didn't go so well for him. Made it impossible for him to do anything. He never actually finished that run, I don't think.
Wow.
And because they have collision as well, and they would spawn inside of his flooded base, it got to the point that he could not get out. Every time he tried to access the hatch... Sorry, I just have to do this. So that's the little... dance time. That's the little Easter egg there for Markiplier, who played this in early access a lot, so that's the shrine done. Yeah, it happened that when Selvin was doing his cuttlefish run, every single time he tried to use a hatch, it would just play with the cuttlefish. So you got to play with the cuttlefish a lot, which was lovely. But unfortunately didn't do much else. So, our last little bit of crafting overlap. Now that we have the gantry and the platform...
Time. I was wondering if we had time for a quick donation.
Absolutely, yep, because I've got to do some more crafting.
Awesome. We got a $26 donation from Anonymous without a comment, but I can see this particular donation has gone towards the Terraria bid war, which is, if I am not entirely mistaken, let me check the precise details. It is for the evil biome choice, either Crimson or Corruption, and in this case, that means that Crimson is in the lead currently at $56, and Corruption is currently sitting at $31. So you still have some more time before that comes up, but you definitely want to keep an eye on that. And with that donation, we've also crossed 1.6k in total for Project Hope. So thank you so much for your donations. I really love the pace we're having so far, so let's keep it going, and thank you so much.
Pressurizing fire.
Cool. So this is now time when I throw the switch, by the way.
Communications systems array.
Now that's time.
Oh wow! Talk about timing.
I was using a flare animation to once again skip the animations of doing the switches, because otherwise they take a long time. You can also sometimes launch out of... it's gone missing. You can sometimes pick up the flare and it launches you far into the air if you're standing on it, but I think I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Can we do it? It just triggered the animation for the door again. That's a shame. Let's see if I can do it, because it's good fun. It's a good way to finish. Yay! There we go. Physics is fun.
Yes. Funky physics in video games is always the best.
So good. Unfortunately, I didn't have to make a propulsion cannon, because then you can fly. We do a moist descent run where we don't touch the water for more than 1.5 seconds. That's always good. Yeah, so that was Subnautica Bingo. I'm glad that we finished. What was our time in the end?
I can see the time is 38:32.
Good. Good, I'm glad for that.
So we're all on good time. Before we move on, do you have any other final words you want to say?
Well, thank you for basically inviting me along for this. It was really good fun, good opportunity to show the game off, of course, as always. There's been a lot of improvements over the last year or so in terms of strategies. We also just started to get a bingo ready for Below Zero, the sequel to this, which I'm sure a lot of people will be excited about. So hopefully we'll be able to maybe have that featured in the next Bingothon. But otherwise, yeah, thanks to you guys, thanks to the mods, thanks to the techs, thanks to the community. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and hopefully we manage to raise a lot more money for a really good cause, and things can all just start to settle down again in the world. Would be really nice.
Indeed, indeed. Well, thank you so much for that run. Sit tight, everyone. We'll be right back after a short intermission, after which we'll be going ahead
When looking at the card, what kind of factors are there that make you think this is a row that I want to go for? Or what makes you say this is a row I am definitely not going for?
Many of the spaces repeat certain requirements for each of the different mansions. For example, for the gems, we have 7 gems in one mansion, 7 gems in another, 7 gems in another, and then sometimes there's 12 in a certain one. The 7 is just halfway, 12 is most of them. So many times when I'm looking for rows or columns to go for, I'll try and find spaces that are very close together. For example, if there's 2 rows and one says 7 gems in Haunted Towers, one of the mansions, and then another space says 12 gems in Haunted Towers, those 2 rows would go very good together, at least those 2 spaces, because once I get the 7 gem space, I only need 5 more, and that won't take as long. And also I'm already most likely in the levels to get those gems, so I don't need to back out and then go into another one. For things that I would not go for, just spaces that I can't think of any way that they can combine, like everything is just very out of the way. So when I try to pick rows or columns to go for, I try to pick things that are more intertwined together.